What I fear is that I would not get a job because software is like completely taken over by AI.
I always say to my students that we haven't even seen 1% of AI growing up in this world because there are a lot to come. Whatever LLM we are using are $1 billion worth, but we are using it freely. AI is taking away jobs that are very repetitive and that can be automated. That's what it is doing. But naturally, it's not destroying any job that needs intelligence to perform.
AI is the new cloud. So every 10 years or so, there is this one technology that rises up so high. Hello and welcome to Besides the Obvious podcast. Today I have with me one of my favorite professors and the chairperson of SOEIT, Manipal Dubai. He's also the top 2% AI scientist recognized by Stanford.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Singh.
Thank you for the kind words.
So, I'm having this podcast today with you so that I can completely learn all about AI, because there are so many things happening in AI. Every single day, there's a big development. I'm going to be asking you a few questions that I think are worth understanding. First of all, there is something I got to know from one of my friends in NYU about Moore's Law. So Moore's Law is basically the technology grows double every single year. And you could see it happening in AI and AI models too. What I'm asking is, there is a high growth in AI, but do you think there'll be like a flatlining soon in AI growth? And when it reaches the flatlining, what do you think the world is going to look like?
That's a very right question to ask. And thanks for having me here. And then, you were talking about a flat point. I feel my personal opinion is in computing and especially with AI, I feel the growth hasn't started it. So I always say to my students that we haven't even seen 1% of AI growing up in this world because there are a lot to come. Because AI is evolving itself and it has all the power it needs in terms of bandwidth, in terms of storage, in terms of what you can say computing. It's growing mammothly and it's going to take some more time, some more years, even if it want to reach a flat. But till then, it's going to go exponential high. And I can also add that AI is going to enter each and every field we know. So whatever AI has been designed for is not only for used for that, but it's been used vitally across multiple domains. Like you can from agriculture to retail, and it is slowly eating up every field and optimizing it. So getting into the flat state might happen,
Yeah.
but it's going to take years.
Years. Yeah, you talked about getting into every field. Which fields do you think is going to completely vanish, from human monitoring, I guess?
It is going to optimize the field. It may not eat up the field as such, but maybe the process and methodologies, all that were there in the field will vanish, and AI will replace it with newer processes and newer techniques so that it can be done more optimally, plus it can be done in a better way. So it's going to completely increase the quality. Imagine production. Production was done in one particular way, right from beginning of industrial revolution till now. But after AI has come, it has completely changed the way a car is produced. So it's going to give at one point of time per year a company can make only this number of cars. So it has almost tripled. You can see companies, latest company what we have, how fast they are manufacturing cars because it has optimized each and every individual process that tends to give us the final product automobile. So it is becoming fast. And as many of the AI scientists and thinkers have told, poverty can also be eradicated by means of artificial intelligence in coming days. Because now you know the supply chain is very good. Unless a country stops itself from somebody giving them a supply of food or rations, every country is having surplus amount of food. The supply chain is huge. The production of food has doubled, tripled, especially in agriculture. We have gone for precision agriculture. We know how much of water is needed. Imagine deserts have cultivation. It's all happened because of understanding the terrain, which again AI helps. It also happens by means of predicting when the rain can come. You have all SAR images, satellite images, which can be used by artificial intelligence. So it's going to change in a better way.
Okay. So for the change to happen, you know, it's very important for the young youths to understand all about AI. So how much do you think the colleges and universities in UAE have been integrating AI in different kind of courses, like BBA, ISM, interior designing, all of the other courses? How much do you think the integration of AI is in that?
So, upon many countries, UAE has played a significant role in adapting AI.
Yeah.
They have even got AI in governance, in all other activities they have done. So they have a focus, they have a vision, they have also a clean roadmap defined. So all the universities which are under in UAE, they also tend to adapt it and they have become prominent in adapting all that AI strategy. And you can see many of the universities have gone through the curriculum and syllabus. They have more than adequate content of AI that is needed for a student to learn. And I also feel that many of the industry connecting with academia, especially to the context of AI, will also help this strategy to grow. So my answer for this, yeah, it is already there, adequate is there. But since AI is growing very fast, it's very hard to reflect in academia very sooner. But university has to work hard to make sure what is being coming out has to be added maybe as an elective or some value added courses or some micro credentials or certification courses where they will be able to make the student adapt and study what is happening in par with industry and academic.
AI is growing a lot, and for students like me also, it's getting hard to understand all of the AI tools that exist right now. And every single day, there's a development, there's a new AI tool coming out. Sometimes it's just overwhelming for me also to understand the AI tools that come out. Would there be anything you would recommend us to do to, understand which AI tool is more efficient for the students?
Ah, yeah, what you are saying is right. A lot of students, especially when they're studying their final year, pre-final year, they get lost inside the technology. So, as you said, rightly, AI is also growing mammothly, and there are a lot of verticals of AI itself. So, I always advise my students, including you, to take any one of the verticals of AI and then put concentration on one of it. For example, you can take a domain, maybe a finance, and how AI works on finance. You can take only that, so that you will not be getting bombarded with that amount of data or advancement that are happening in AI, but you will be working only towards a particular domain. So this convergence will help you to overcome this kind of fatigue you get when you are seeing a lot of advancements that are happening in AI in day-to-day basis. So that pathway, what you are choosing, might help you.
And do you think AI is addictive too?
It is addictive, absolutely yes.
A lot of students, yeah,
Ah,
like me too. I learned about a new model and I've been using only that. I've completely lost the thought of time. Okay. I've been using it for hours and hours. This time used to go towards me watching YouTube and understanding it through that. And now I'm using ChatGPT. Do you think it's maybe even harmful at points, you know?
No, I think it is not harmful as much you see a social media content because you are growing up, you are working hard, maybe you are little obsessed with growth, and I think that's good. Maybe what you are doing is learning, and it is part of your life. Maybe next year you will be into job. The learning phase should be very high, and I don't think that will be something you can look forward for more learning. And like since you are obsessed with one particular model, once you get clarity about how the model works and where it can be deployed, you can do any number of applications with that. Because one model may be defined for a particular reason, but after few months of time, AI is making the model applicable for several other applications.
Yeah.
You can see a lot of agentic AI startups are earning a lot of money because they create an autonomous agentic AI which can solve one problem. So once they are capable of doing that, they will make the agentic AI eligible or ready to solve multiple problems. So that's how it works. So I feel this is an agent AI. I can say that an agentic AI age. So every student should know about it, start working towards creating their own agentic AI.
And which part do you think, which dimension of AI do you think is harmful to the human race?
I can't say like that everything is good and bad, but how much dose of AI you are going to use for which development, advancement, that's going to answer this question. Otherwise, AI is always made for good. Because like in healthcare, it has done a lot, like prediction of disease before it comes, early detection of any cancer. This is something that has been done, but maybe for some like other purpose, which is disruptive, if it is being used, it's going to be very harmful for the human society. But otherwise, there are not much of issues. Yeah.
Have you heard of AI bias? Basically, in an example, let's say I type and what's 2 plus 2 and it says 4, but then I argue that it's not 4 and it's 6, the AI would just agree on it. You know, that's what AI bias is. What's, how can a human understand if it's wrong or right when there is AI bias? What would you have to say to that?
Yeah, it exists. If you take computing, like especially AI, the bias has been for many years now, because there were not much of forums and ethical committee as we have today. But now you can have you can see multiple forums and ethical committee working on it. So whenever an AI related product is coming out, they thoroughly checked even how the training is happening and what kind of data they had used for training. Even if they are having any bias in training, the data set, you can see if there is any racial thing associated with it, or if there is any other bias related to nationality, color. This has been eradicated to most extent, but still it's going to be very difficult. Like how we can't control internet, it is going to be very difficult for us to control AI growth also, because anybody like you and me, we can create an AI agent, we can upload, make use of it. There is not much of restriction, but when it is going to be commercialized or sold to a customer, then the ethics will act. That is how it works.
Okay, what would be the major field where AI would dominate. There should be at least like one field, right, where AI would dominate compared to other fields completely.
I
I think I believe, okay, personally, that business is a field that AI cannot completely dominate it because business needs human attention too. But fields like coding is probably diminishing really fast due to AI. What other field do you think would be there?
I agree with whatever you said. Like software development is one field that I think AI has shaken it up
Yeah,
because the amount of time people used to take to create a software, right from planning to deployment to testing, like it has completely reduced, and AI is almost playing an autopilot role that's happening. That's a very old news, but I feel healthcare is something that is using AI most. I can see a lot of development happening in medical domain, especially identifying the disease, especially coming out with precision medicine, especially with how the doctors are seeing the data, the insights of people's health. And I can also see a lot of development is happening in understanding how a human brain works with the help of AI models. Once any human being achieves how a human brain works completely, I think a lot of things will come out of it. This understanding will help us to create even newer medicines and newer, what you can say, methodologies or treatment techniques, and it's going to cure it very well. You are seeing every day that what was uncurable, or imagine creating a drug, it takes 10 to 15 years before. Now, with the help of AI and simulation, they are creating within 6 months, 1 year. That's also, I feel the one domain that's going to be very successful or impactful is going to be healthcare AI.
fun fact that you talked about healthcare and AI. My first podcast was about healthcare
Oh,
and
great.
AI. So I have a friend who's in NYU and he's doing biophysics and he talked about AI integration in biophysics. So that's actually true, what you're saying. Yeah.
Great.
The other question I have, yeah, and this is like very personal also. I use AI for basically ChatGPT and all of that for completing homework assignments and making mails, even understanding if I have done anything wrong in the lines. Okay, don't you think that also affects you in a wrong way and maybe makes you a bit dumb? You know?
Uh, there have been a lot of theories behind it. I would also see a lot of kind of news coming up, like what will happen to our neurological function when we keep on using LLMs for shortcut writing something. Maybe it might happen, but I also feel that the amount of learning you are doing by means of LLM every day is also exponential. Without you knowing, you are already learning a lot. And it's just a fingertip away. Like if you want to know about some comparison of something or analysis of something, it's just one stroke away from you. So I feel on the other hand, this kind of improvements in understanding the concept is also happening. So imagine a period when people started using calculator, the same mindset would have been there. At one point of time, people don't even had a calculator. So every time they want to do, they used to do in their mind. But when calculator came, a lot of people lost how to use their memory for doing a basic multiplication or some complicated division.
Yeah.
Similarly, this LLM has come, and maybe there will be some loss of you memorizing certain things which was necessary at one point of time. And maybe it may not be necessary for anybody to remember anything. Even you can see your question papers in academics, we don't ask much of question that test your memory, right? We always ask a lot of questions based on how you analyze certain thing and how you make sure your reading has been put into implementation or case study? That's how we ask. I think memory is very, very important, but keeping a light memory is always good. So I feel it has both pros and cons. Let's stick to the pros and then we can take it forward. Because imagine you yourself, you are saying, and I also agree with that, that the amount of time you are spending for doing certain things that you were doing repeatedly has been reduced. So you can have more time for doing something more essential or more useful, right?
One of the fears that I face in life right now, because AI has come in the picture, is that first of all, you do know that I'm doing software right now, and I'm in my last 3 weeks. What I fear is that I would not get a job because software is like completely taken over by AI. Do you think I could work anywhere else, like with the expertise of software, but also that I do not just want to work in AI because everyone is going to go into AI now? Do you think there's like still going to be one field that's like going to be secure, that children can still work into and grow?
I always say to my students that AI is taking away jobs that are very repetitive and that can be automated. That's what it is doing. But naturally, it's not destroying any job that needs intelligence to perform. So if you take anything, it's not going to completely destroy the way the software is going to be built. And like, uh, as you already said, like, you don't want to work completely into AI because already there are a lot of people working on agentic AI. But there are other things that are related to AI, like training, like high performance computing. There is coding that are related to high performance computing. And there is also a new thing coming up like quantum AI. You can try on that. That is something that you have to predict what next of AI is coming. And you have to start working on.
What is quantum AI, sir?
Quantum AI is something like which has the power of quantum computing combined with artificial intelligence. So, like what we do with high performance computing, the same can be achieved in multiple times, multiple exponential frame by means of quantum AI. And a lot of nations are investing a lot of dollars into quantum because quantum AI is the next thing. So maybe you can take that track.
Okay, that sounds like a really interesting track. Okay, this question is more of a really personal question to you. Okay,
Sure.
if you had to combine all your knowledge and wisdom and were to give one advice to the youth watching, what would that one advice be?
I always say to them, don't worry about your future, but make sure you use day to day life very actively, involve, participate in whatever is possible, and try to watch less number of reels. Have a quota that I'll be asked, seeing this many hours of reels or this many minutes of reels. I think that's something they have to stick to. Otherwise, I always ask them, advise them to sit and think and work towards it. Many of our students, or you can say many of the relatively young students like you, they are very talented. They're very active, but they are little confused with what they want to become. So if they have a neat plan, they can discuss with their mentors or seniors. Once they have a niche plan, they just need to work towards it and leave alone other consequences that might change their goal. But once they stick to the plan, I think they have a great energy level and they are very hardworking. Plus, their sense of understanding is very high. They just need to stick to their own plan.
And what is one thing about AI that you think the general public would not know? Like the students like me would not know.
Maybe they do not know about the amount of economics behind AI. Whatever LLM we are using are $1 billion worth, but we are using it freely. So not many people do know about what are the economics of it, why they are giving free, are we really using it or training the AI? There are many questions.
So why are they giving it to you?
Yes. So that is something that people have to think, they have to work on it to just understand it.
Is it so that they can train their model more
Yeah, maybe.
with our
Yeah,
data?
whatever questions you are asking, it's a training to the LLM model.
Don't you think that's
And
unethical?
you also, people have to also think like why somebody is having great volume of employee and great volume of money involved and still they give a lot of softwares free. That's a $1 billion question, I think. So that's how people, and like for to run a LLM query, they have to also have a huge data center. They have to have a huge energy plant. They have to have a huge coolant plants. All that. It's kind of very expensive. So, but how they are able to give free to people, it is only the way they use the subscription they are earning, or there are many other ways. There is something that is always fuzzy, and I always feel that people like us, we will never know or never get to know it.
And don't you think it's unethical to use someone else's data for training their model?
It is, but I always see to that. But these LLMs which we use, they have license for whatever training they're doing, because most of the laws are very strict nowadays. So they may face a kind of punishment or other issues, law related, data privacy related issues will come. So I think now they are doing it very ethical. They, even if they want to take a book, they're getting proper copyright, and they're finding out what are the copyright that makes them use the data that is publicly available. It's coming up. As I told, AI is going very fast, but AI ethics is growing not so fast.
Not
It's
as
very
fast as
hard.
Yeah.
So it's going to be always, there is a gap between this, but it will catch up at one point of time.
Okay. So when I was doing my internship, yeah, and it was a big company that I did my internship in, and the person that I was under was also really experienced. I'm happy that I could learn a lot from him, and we were basically integrating AI into fields. So we were trying to integrate AI into chatbots that we could use while calling for customer service. And there's one thing that stuck with me, and I was like, wow, this line is amazing that he said. What he said was, AI is the new cloud. So every 10 years or so, there is this one technology that rises up so high. 10 to 12 years back, it was cloud, and everyone wanted cloud. There was so much hype over it. Before that, it was mobile phones. Apple had their own innovation, and now it's cloud. Do you think that's true?
Absolutely true. And I also want to add that AI is not the destination. There will be newer technologies, newer field that will be coming up that will also give a lot of competition to AI itself.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much for being part
Thank
of
you.
this
Thank you.
podcast, sir.
Thank you for hosting.
Yeah.